We'll call to order the regular council meeting for the town of St. Andrews on Monday, February the 2nd, Groundhog Day, at 6:30 p.m. at the WC Arena Complex in the council chambers. First, there's a recording of attendance, and everyone is present except for, you said, Councilor Blanchard will not be here. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Thank you. Everybody else is here. We are on the unceded traditional territory of the Beskoto Makati people. We recognize that we are here on their territory tonight. The approval of the agenda, I need a mover. Councillor, Deputy Mayor Neal, and seconder, Councillor Harland. Any additions or amendments? Sorry, the word just went out of my head. Councillor Weir?
Could we just have a brief discussion about the messaging on Passamaquoddy Lodge land?
Brief messaging. Can we add that to our agenda? Mr. Spear?
We certainly can. Did you want to make it part of the business, or could you wait to the councillor's comments?
Just get some feedback, I guess.
Sure.
So where would you want it placed? In the councillor's comments or in the agenda itself?
We'll put under section
New
5,
business?
planning community development, or new business. I guess new business J would be better, Your Worship. Thank you.
Which
Councillor
one,
Bennett.
sorry?
J.
J? E-F-H-I-J, new business. So we need a seconder for that? Councillor Michelle, Councillor Weir, and seconded Michelle. So with that amendment, all those in favor say aye. Contrary minded? Carried. So it will be in the new business.
I just want to repeat it because the audience at Shade Show didn't hear, or Facebook, I guess, was that it's just we're going to add a discussion on the Passamaquoddy Lodge and the land.
Okay. All right. So now, all those in favor of accepting the agenda with its amendment, say aye. Aye. Contrary minded? Carried. So disclosure of conflict of interest, is there anything from anyone? No. Presentations, there are no presentations tonight, Mr. Weir? I mean, Mr. Weir, Mr. Spear?
There is not, no.
Okay, thank you. So we go to the approval of the minutes, and they would be of the regular council meeting on Monday, January the 19th at 2026 at 6:30 p.m. So the recommended motion is that the minutes of the 26/01/19 regular council meeting of Monday, January the 19th, 2026 at 6:30 p.m. be adopted. I need a mover. Councillor Heenan, seconder, Councillor Harland. Any discussion, council? Not seeing any. All those in favor of accepting the minutes, say aye. Contrary minded? Carried. Communications, there were no communications. Staff reports. Mr. Spear?
Thank you. Council, last week we had a significant snowfall. As of the writing of this report, another storm was expected yesterday, which actually did not happen, thankfully. Yay. But to our friends in Nova Scotia, our condolences. Hopefully the forecasts were wrong, which they were, but either way, winter has come back with a vengeance this year. The following is an update on our ongoing initiatives of the town of St. Andrews. It is compressed as it has only been a couple of weeks since the last report. After over a year of data gathering, stakeholder engagement, and documentation review, last Monday night we had a presentation from the consultant on the draft recreation master plan. The presentation video and the draft plan are available on our website or by visiting Town Hall to get a copy. Council may want to sit on it for a couple of weeks to see if you receive any feedback and accept it on February 16th or the first meeting in March. Before you is a request to form an ad hoc hiring committee for the CFO treasurer position. We have a few qualified candidates and will be provided resumes of the short list soon. Once the committee is formed, we can determine the best time to conduct interviews. Included in tonight's package is a request to get an exemption from the noise bylaw for a private event in September. The organizer has been good to work with and will follow terms you put forth. One of the options is to table it and provide more information to staff on any further information you require. Staff have brought before you their procurement policy, which has been updated to allow for group purchases with organizations like Canoe and Kinetic GPO. These large national organizations provide expertise on procurement procedures involving having pre-qualified vendors who meet the standards to provide reliable goods or services. From the town's perspective, there are a couple of advantages. Number one, the time and energy to put together a tender is enormous. We would still be required to provide specifications, but the process of advertising and gathering bids, including creation of the bidding documents, is left in the hands of the organization. In discussion with current vendors, it appears this process can reduce capital costs by 3 to 5%. While it may not sound significant for purchases $50,000 or more, it is money saved for the taxpayers. I assure Council that you will still get to see competitive bids for your final approval. Under administration, 2 full-time opportunities for a treasurer and a janitor have been open for a couple of weeks, and interest is coming in. They are posted on our website and on Indeed. If you know someone who may be interested, there is still time to apply. If you want more information, feel free to reach out to me. There is no financial report as I go through the process preparing for the 2025 audit and ensuring year-end balances are correct. There was minimal snow in December, except around Christmas, so the projections staff presented a month or two ago will be reflective of the final numbers. Services. It has been a busy month for Public Works with snow plowing and removing Christmas decorations. I want to thank the public who heeded our call to avoid Water Street last Thursday so the removal process would be more efficient. By 10 a.m., all the snow had been removed, making parking and access much easier. On behalf of Council, I wish to thank Amanda Flynn for joining the Fire Department as a volunteer, which ensures we always have adequate coverage. The year-end planning report is interesting, showing the value of new construction was up 70% to $17.5 million, despite the number of permits dropping by 20%. Over the last few years, we've had a handful of large projects that help grow the tax base. We hope it continues in 2026 as we have another potential project or two that may get started this year. The Service Commission staff have been finalizing a heritage permit to be put on their application portal with a bit of help from town staff. The application is minimal, and we hope to assist those property owners in identifying and maintaining their property. We can also help them find advice on best practices in restoring the exterior of their property. The Ross Memorial Library is providing lots of activities to beat the winter blahs. One of them is a reading club that recently read Horse, a novel, a 2022 historical fiction novel that weaves together 3 timelines to tell the story of Lexington, the greatest racehorse in American history. It explores themes of race, art, and slavery through the perspective of a 19th century enslaved groom, a 1950s art historian, and 2019 scientist, revealing the hidden contributions of black horsemen. The library manager exclaims that it was very well received. They were also fortunate enough to have the St. John String Quartet in for a performance for both adult and youth. There is minimal opportunity for such an intimate exposure to classical music, and we thank the quartet for giving us their time. Despite many of us bunkering home. The youth center embraced the snow with toboggan activities and a planned snowshoe hike in the works. In conclusion, another event, Winter Warmer, took place this past weekend with a variety of performances and activities for all ages. Council is grateful that the same team that initiated Paddle Fest has provided this opportunity in January when it can be a bit quiet. I hope many of you took the time to take in an event or two. Respectfully submitted, Chris Spear, Chief Administrative Officer.
Thank you, Mr. Spear. Right page. All right, and now we are going to do introduction, consideration, and passing of bylaws and motions. And the first one up is the
Deputy
finance.
Mayor, excuse me, you need to receive the
Oh,
reports.
we need to accept the reports, thank you. All those in favor, say aye. Contrary minded?
Need a motion.
Oh, we
first.
need a motion first. We need a motioner.
Motion and second.
Motion. Counselor Heenan, seconder. Counselor, Deputy Mayor Neal. Now, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded?
I had a
Mr. Gumshoe?
I had a comment, if you don't mind.
Okay.
I'd asked for better records with our correspondence coming in, and I want to thank staff for putting together this extensive list of the correspondence. However, I don't think we need to have quite so much detail, like our power bills and things need to be in this ledger versus, it's more correspondence from the public regarding things. So thank you for putting this together, but I think it's a bit onerous, and next time you have a go at it, you could leave out many of these things, with the exception of letters to council or concerns. Those are the kinds of correspondence I was hoping that we would be tracking versus, some of the other things from the bank and things like that.
Okay.
I don't know how anybody else felt that, but I did appreciate it, but
I
a
did
bit
appreciate
much.
the list, and I thank staff for that. Very nice and concise, so thank you very much. And thank you, Mr. Gumshoe.
I didn't want to make them more work than was necessary, I guess is my point.
I guess two things, Counselor. It's not a lot of extra work. It'll take 5 minutes more to consolidate them into a little more. I just let Council know, too, we've had this list going back years and years. We just have never presented. We just started presenting it at your request, but we have records like this going back 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very concise. All right, now, sorry, Councilor Harland.
So just, I just want to clarify. So to follow up on what Councillor Gumshoe was asking for, which were the letters from the public, can we assume that every letter has been responded to, or that there's been action taken on it, or what do we make of the letters coming in?
It's a complicated answer, but some will just be thank you for your notice.
Right.
Some will be brought to council for further consideration. Everyone gets at least a one-word or, a little paragraph thank you that's brought forward for consideration.
Okay.
And then staff will usually look at it every week or two and just see if there's any follow-up needed.
Okay, because I don't think we get every letter. Not every letter is forwarded to us.
Correct.
Okay,
So for instance, if somebody writes in that they have a crack in their sidewalk that
Right.
staff are responsible for,
right,
we take care of that.
okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Spear. Okay, so we've accepted the staff reports. So we're moving on now to the introduction, consideration, and passing of bylaws and motions. And the first one up is Councillor Heenan with Finance and Administration. Please.
Thank you, Your Worship, Council, audience. The first one is reference FA 260225, appointment of an ad hoc hiring committee for the CFO/treasurer. Council recently started the recruitment process for a CFO/treasurer as approved by council at the January 19th meeting of council. A recruiter has advertised for the position nationally and will shortlist the pool to qualified individuals after initial telephone interview. We should now select an ad hoc hiring committee for this position, with interviews conducted in the next 2 to 3 weeks. In addition to the CAO, council should appoint 2 to 3 members to finalize the recruitment process. The motion before us, Your Worship, is that
Councillor Heenan, if I could recommend, maybe we just do an informal request to who wants to join before you go through the motion.
Okay.
Just then you can read the motion with those who'd like to be part of it.
Councillor Weir?
Councillor Neal? And
Neal?
Deputy Mayor Neal?
Mhm.
Anyone else?
Deputy Mayor, are you going to be interested too, or you're okay with the three of us?
Well, I can be there if you want me to be there.
Well, it's up to you.
All right, I'll put my name down.
Okay.
You don't know when these are taking place, but
Okay.
Deputy Mayor.
Well, we do have the
Tomorrow?
dates. Just, but
Okay.
before I forget, once this motion goes through, if the committee members could stay back for like 30 seconds after the meeting, and we can talk
Okay.
about dates.
Okay?
Okay. Your Worship, the motion is that the following individuals are appointed to the ad hoc hiring committee for the recruitment of the CFO/treasurer. Mr. Chris Spear, CAO and treasurer, Councillor Weir, Deputy Mayor Neal, and our Mayor, Kate Akagi. I so move this, Your Worship.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Heenan. Seconder? Councillor Harlan. Oops. Any further discussion? Ready for the question? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried unanimously. Okay, thank you, Councillor Heenan.
Okay, our
Next
next one, Your Worship, is FA 260224, second and third reading bylaw 23-06-A, amendment to 23-06, procedural bylaw. Bylaw 23-06, the procedural bylaw for council, contains a small section regarding staff meetings. An amendment to this section has been prepared by staff to provide more detail for meetings' purposes, format, and procedures. First reading of the amendment was approved on January the 19th, 2026, and the draft bylaw has been available on the town website or from Town Hall. One edit has been made with the addition of a future consideration item on the agenda. Staff recommends council give leave for second reading of the bylaw, and if no changes are required, to give leave for third and final reading. The first motion before us is that council give leave for second reading in its entirety of bylaw 23-06-A, amendment to bylaw 23-06, procedural bylaw. I so move this, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Heenan. Seconder? Councillor Bennett. Any further discussion? Okay, question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried unanimously. So I will now read it in its entirety. Bylaw 23-06-A. To amend the bylaw 23-06, a procedural bylaw for the organization and operation of the council of the town of St. Andrews. Be it enacted by the council of the town of St. Andrews that bylaw 23-06, a procedural bylaw for the organization and operation of the council of the town of St. Andrews, be amended as follows. That Section 8, staff meetings of council, be replaced to read, 8.1, a staff meeting of council will occur on the second Monday of each month in the council chambers at 6 p.m. unless otherwise determined by council. Meetings shall be informed in nature, 8.2. Meetings shall be informal in nature in regards to procedure and use of titles. 8.3, the purpose of the staff meeting of council are: A, to provide senior administration a venue for discussion of current and upcoming projects with council. B, for council to provide direction to staff regarding the same. C, to receive delegations and presentations between regular meetings of council. 8.4, the meeting shall be chaired by the CAO or designate. 8.5, a quorum of council is preferred, but not required. 8.5, a quorum of council 8.6, public notice of the meeting shall be published digitally no later than 3 calendar days before the meeting date. 8.7, the meeting shall be open to the public except in the case of items relating to closed-door proceedings, as outlined in Section 68, Bracket 1 of the Local Governance Act. 8.8, staff meetings of council will not be televised or broadcast to the public or recorded and posted online. 8.9, no decision or motion may be made by council at the meeting. Items which require a decision of council shall be presented at a regular or special meeting of council. 8.10, the agenda for the meeting shall include a record of attendance, B, approval of agenda, and C, disclosure of conflict of interest. D, presentations. E, discussion items. 1, finance and administration portfolio. 2, public works and public safety portfolio. 3, economic development, business and cultural portfolio. 4, recreation and environment portfolio. 5, planning and community development portfolio. F, future considerations. G, closed session. H, adjournment. 8.11, minutes for the meeting shall be taken and kept in accordance with Section 20 of this bylaw. Enactment, well, the first reading of this was the 19th day of January, 2026. This is the second reading, which is the second day of February, 2026. Okay, Councillor Heenan, you're on again.
Thank you, Your Worship. Motion number 2, that council give leave for third and final reading by title only of bylaw 23-06-A, amendment to bylaw 23-06, procedural bylaw. I so move, Your Worship.
Thank you very much, Councillor Heenan. We need a seconder. Councillor Harlan, thank you. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried unanimously. So I will now read it in point form.
Deputy Mayor, you just have to read, like, the part in bold, just the title, the very top 4 or 5 lines there.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah.
Thank you. Bylaw 23-06-A to amend bylaw 23-06, a procedural bylaw for the organization and operation of the Council of the Town of St. Andrews. That's all I have to read.
Read this third day.
Read this third time on February, 2nd of February, 2026.
Thank you.
And that's it. You just don't like to hear me read. All right, carrying on, Councillor Heenan.
Thank you, Your Worship. Mr. Mack, would you give me a report number on this?
Yes, Counselor, it's FA
FA
260
260
221.
221, thank you, sir. This is reference number FA 260221, Planning Fee Refund, 126 Reed Avenue. A rezoning application was submitted by Mr. Dominique Belanger in November 2025 regarding the cardboard recycling operation at 126 Reed Avenue. At their December 2025 meeting, PAC approved the extension of the temporary use authorization. The applicant has sent a request for council to refund the fee paid so the issue could be reviewed by council and PAC. A copy of the receipt is attached, shows the fee of $1,000. The motion, your worship, is that the council authorize the refund of rezoning fee of $1,000 to Mr. Dominique Belanger. I so move.
Seconder, Counselor Bennett. Thank you. Discussion, council? Yes, Mr. Spear?
Yeah, just wanted to point out this is a bit of an unusual request that the councils typically don't do this, but this particular project was in support of the BIA and a recycling bin. It's more of a goodwill project for Mr. Belanger and his existing property as opposed to a development proposal or anything. So it is rare, but I think the council is talking, supports it just because of the service it's going to be offering in the recycling of cardboard for the community.
Thank you, Mr. Spear, for that explanation. Any other? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried. Mr. Heenan.
Here I go again. This is reference number FA 260223, Policy P26-03, Procurement Policy Update. The town's current procurement policy was drafted in 2018 with minor updates in 2021 and 2024. Staff is recommending an update to the policy for the following reasons. Acts and regulations with authorized and set provisions for policy have changed or been replaced. The town can benefit joining group purchasing organization, GPOSs, for insurance and tendering. Complying with regulation requires wording to be added to the procurement policy, proposed Section 21. Provincial regulations allow for tender qualification, preferred suppliers, and tenders by invitation when detailed in procurement policy, proposed Section 22 to 25. The motion, your worship, is that the council for the town of St. Andrews approves the adoption of policy P26-03, procurement policy. I so move.
Thank you, Counselor Heenan. Seconder, Counselor Harlan. Further discussion, council? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried unanimously. Again, Mr. Heenan?
Okay. And continuing onward, your worship.
Yes.
Oh, Mr. Mack, could I have a report number for this, please?
Sure, yes, Counselor Heenan, it is FA
Mm-hmm.
260219.
Thank you. Reference number FA 260219, CPI staff wage increase for 2025. As part of the compensation package for town employees, council has traditionally authorized a consumer price index CPI increase, which is applied to employees and pay ranges within the human resource policy. The average CPI for 2025, as provided by Statistics Canada, was 2.1%. Within the 2026 budget, staff had allowed for a 2.5% increase. A comparison, the federal pensions are being indexed by 2%. The background is the following CPI increases were approved over the previous 4 years. In 2022, 3%, 2023, 5%, 2024, 3%, 2025, 2.5%. Note, that council did not take CPI increases for themselves in 2024 or 2025. If council would like to review options to add CPI to council stipends, council can debate option, use suggested motion 2 if they so choose. Well, motion 1 is that the council of the town of St. Andrews authorizes a CPI increase for employees' pay and pay ranges indexed by a factor of 2%. I so move this, your worship.
Seconder? Counselor Neal, Deputy Mayor Neal, sorry. Discussion? Counselor Ware?
Yes, I know.
Your microphone?
I notice there's two CPI tables here, neither one of which has a number on. I use this methodology in a lot of the business agreements I put together. I always quote the New Brunswick CPI, and there is a Statistics Canada number on it. Then anyone can look it up online. It's published about the 18th of each month. And I just thought perhaps for the sake of transparency, we should present the Statistics Canada table by number, because when one gets onto that site, I think you can find a CPI for almost anything that exists in Canada. And it's the New Brunswick one that counts, not the federal one. People live and spend their money in New Brunswick. So, just my comment.
Thank you, Counselor Weir. Do we want to add that?
Yeah, just wanted to say, these tables, even though they're not from Statistics Canada directly, their source is Statistics Canada. It's just a HR fellow out of Shediac that puts these tables and sends them right across. So that was included in your package, and New Brunswick's is 1.7.
Remember the number starts with 18, but I don't know, 5 or 6 digits.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Spear. Thank you, Counselor Weir. Further discussion? Okay, all those in favor of motion 1, say aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried unanimously. Number 2?
Motion 2. This is optional, but I will read it. That the council of the town of St. Andrews authorize a CPI increase for council pay and pay ranges indexed by a factor of 2.0. Your worship, I'll just move this for discussion.
Okay.
So I move this.
So we need a seconder in order to discuss it. So we need a seconder. Counselor Heenan has moved it.
Second.
Second, Counselor Gumichelle. Discussion, Council? Counselor Heenan.
I would recommend that the council of the town of St. Andrews does not take the 2.0 CPI increase. Thank you.
Counselor Neal.
Yeah, just recognizing that council has not accepted this.
In
Again,
the 4
we all know we're not
years.
doing this for the money. But I was going to suggest that an amendment that with a new election coming up and a new council coming in, that we just add to defer that to, say, June of 2026.
Okay,
Oh, that's good. Thank you very much.
thank you.
Excellent proposal. So we have to amend that. So,
You don't have to.
so Deputy Mayor is amending that. And Mary Neal, we need a seconder.
I'll do that.
Counselor Harlan beat that to you. Okay, so it's.
So
been
the amendment would be to take effect
2%.
of June 1st, 2026.
2026,
Yeah.
June 1st, 2026. Is that okay, council? Although- Counselor
I
Heenan?
think it should be discussed in the new council in 2026, June.
Deputy Mayor Neal? He wants it discussed first,
Or you
council?
want to just,
But he wants to just do it for June 1st.
Well,
okay.
you already have a motion moved and seconded to
Yeah.
amendment,
Okay.
so
We'd have
Councillor
to
Heenan
change
can
it
certainly
again, so,
change it again, or Councillor Heenan can vote against it, whatever.
Okay.
all
he
right?
likes.
I guess my initial thought was that it'll be there in 2026. Moving forward, if the future council wants to defer it like we have in the past, then
They can do so.
they'll be able to do so.
Excellent. Does that clarify it,
Yes,
Counselor Heenan?
thank you very
All
much.
right. All, now, ready for the question? All those in favor for this increase on June 1st, 2026, say aye. Aye? Contrary minded?
Yeah.
Just one, Counselor Weir.
And Bennett.
And Counselor Bennett, sorry?
Could I ask a question?
Sure.
Did you say that it would be, the increase would be put in on June 1st?
That's what I,
2026,
Mm.
yes.
I didn't want that.
I understood the motion was to defer it until June 1st, 2026.
Defer the
Defer-
motion, Counselor Weir. Yes,
Yes.
that's what I'm that's what I was the understanding as well.
Sorry, I may not have been clear in that then. No, I was just suggesting to defer the,
Payment.
yeah, it taking effect until June 1st. So we were putting it in place for the new council, but
Not for us.
Mm.
Does that explain it? So, do we revote?
No, well, I
Okay.
think everything's
Yeah.
fine, but right now, just to be clear, it's automatically going to happen on June 1st
Yes.
after or into the new council,
Council.
post-election.
And then they can decide
So,
after that.
so I guess Councillor Weir, are you still a nay vote on that?
No.
Okay, and Councillor Bennett, are you still
Are
a
you
nay
still
vote?
nay vote?
Okay.
And
that's
I'm a
good.
nay
Thank you
too.
For
Nay.
clarity, thank you.
And I'm a nay
Oh.
as well.
Okay.
One nay, two nays?
3 nays.
Um,
2 days.
Keenan and
Well, we'll just put all the words in one sentence, okay?
Bennett.
So we are making the motion
To,
that council is going to increase by 2.0%, and it will take effect. Just, there's no other decisions to be made.
Okay.
Takes effect
June 1st.
June 1st. I just want to make sure everyone's clear on that, because I'm hearing both sides of that, and I just want to make sure
And there are,
we're saying yes to start
Yes.
on June 1st.
yes, and there are 2 nay votes, Heenan and Bennett.
Yep.
Clear, council?
And now back to the original
And so
motion, Your
it's
Worship.
What?
And back to the
Back
original
to the
motion.
original motion. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? That's carried. Unanimously. Accept.
Okay, Your Worship?
All right.
Okay, the next one is FA 260222. Requests the views of PAC for bylaw Z25-01 zoning bylaw. Council has been working with the planners from the Southwest New Brunswick Service Commission to draft a new zoning bylaw which will partner with the proposed new municipal plan, bylaw MP 25-01. Planners presented the zoning bylaw on December the 8th, 2025. 3 open houses were held between January 14th and 22nd. On January the 27th, planners presented recommendations addressing feedback from the open houses and issued discovered in-house. An updated draft of Z25-01 has been reviewed has been received from the planners, which has been printed separately and noted draft version 2, January 30th, 2026 at the top of all pages. A planning report and a 1-page map is included in the package. Staff recommends the views of PAC for the zoning bylaw. The motion, Your Worship, is that the Council of the Town of St. Andrews requests the views of the Planning Advisory Committee, PAC, regarding draft Z25-01 zoning bylaw as per section 110 of the Community Planning Act. Your Worship, I so move this.
Great. Seconder, please. Councillor Harland?
Deputy Mayor, we do have Xander Gopin on with us as well tonight. If we
Hello,
would-
Alexander.
Hi, folks.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us tonight. Any discussion, questions for Xander? Council?
Your Worship, maybe it'd be good for Xander to read that planning report he prepared after the post, just to
Okay.
Because there'll be some people, the second version isn't uploaded yet, I'm assuming, to the website? Yeah, no, but people haven't seen it,
Okay.
so they're aware of it.
Sandra, would you please read your response? Your planning report?
Yes, I'm happy to. I'm just keeping my camera off because I'm a bit under the weather, so I'm not looking my best right now.
Okay.
But I will read the planning report. So the changes are added minimum lot coverage of 45% to the lot standards for the U1 and U2 zones. Added fence standards within the urban service boundary as per Z22-11, which was an amendment made fairly recently regarding fences. Clarified the definition of flag sign, so it is required to be attached to a wall, to at least not by right permit flag signs that are just directly attached to the ground. Making salvage yard a use subject to terms and conditions from PAC in the industrial zone. It wouldn't be an allowed use anywhere else, so if it's going to happen, it has to happen there. But then PAC also has to give it terms and conditions because it can be a very intensive use. This was a previous discussion that had come up in council. It didn't actually come up at this last meeting, but we did want to include it. And there was a comment at one of the public meetings about buffer zones around the industrial zone. So requiring a 5-meter tree buffer along front and flankage yard lot lines was added to the industrial zone. Then there were map changes. So council directed staff to peel back a lot of the U2 zoning in kind of the middle of the town plat and kind of keep it just around the edges. I will note if there's further changes that come up around these kind of map things, especially that question, because I think still I would consider very much draft. PAC can give advice to council on how to deal with that. Staff can give recommendations to PAC to direct council to make those changes, and that would not be considered a substantial change. So I'll just note that. As well, in the rural areas, the R1, that's the rural, low-intensity rural area. There were some very small patches of that right along the road that kind of broke up a lot of the rural settlement R2 zones. So that was changed. So those patches no longer exist. There are still some contiguous areas of R1. They're not like they're bigger. There were cleared fields are present, or in the case of one, it's across from the industrial park. So having intensive or more intensive residential development across from an industrial park will only lead to future land use conflicts. So keeping that a little bit less intensive. There are some changes made to the Rossmount property, making the entire kind of what I'm referring to as a developable area, like the bottom of it, the bottom of the hill, and keeping the trail on top of Shamcook Mountain as C2. So that's kind of a park zone. There was a change in the NH1 zone, which is the very limited development sea level rise area, to the NH2 zone. There were a few areas both in the Port of Bayside and at the biological station along the wharf that these are water dependent uses. They need to be there. So if they weren't able to develop, it would cause a lot of issues. So those have been shifted to the NH2 zone, which allows development above a certain elevation and only applies to new main buildings. And some of those were reflected in the municipal plan, not the ones within the urban service boundary, but the ones outside of it. But they're minor; they don't impact policy, so they don't impact the municipal plan process. And the next for the next version of the municipal plan after the public hearing, council can add those. So that's the report. Still very much can be changed, especially if PAC gives advice to change it. That's certainly the process at this point.
Thank you, Mr. Gopin. And Mr. Spear?
Xander, for those that might be Xander, for those that might be interested, are the electronic maps available off the site updated to these new standards?
Yes, they are updated. I will say the NH zones, they're a little bit more complicated to map. So that's the sea level rise zones, and it's only the Port of Bayside and the biological station that I have not been able to update those yet. But all of the zoning changes, the R1, R2, the U1, U2, those are all updated in the online virtual zoning maps.
Thank you, Mr. Gopin. Thank you, Mr. Spear. Any further discussion, council? Okay, not seeing any, we'll go with the motion. All those in favor? Aye. Contrary minded? Carried. Okay. And we're on to Public Works and Public Safety Committee. Deputy Mayor Neal.
Thank you, Mayor Akji. This is reference number PWPS 260109, and the subject is the application for a noise exemption at 41 Cedar Lane. So the background reads, the town has received a noise exemption application for the property located at 41 Cedar Lane for a wedding reception. The request was received through a professional event planner. The exemption request is to allow for public address sound from 7 p.m. till 9 p.m. and a live band and dancing from 9 p.m. till 1 a.m. The applicant has noted use of standard event audio equipment, such as speakers, microphones, musical instruments, used for ceremonial and entertainment purposes. The event planner has confirmed the intent of the homeowner to consult with the surrounding property owners and potential setup of a platform between the home and the property line with sound projecting in the direction of the Huntsman Marine Science Center and Brandy Cove Road. So all received documents and communications are attached. And there's a couple recommendations from staff here that council can proceed with one of two options, either request additional information from the applicant regarding any member's concerns and table the decision to the first regular council meeting after the information is received, or we can choose to approve the application and add conditions regarding times and equipment, such as what we've done in the past. So with regards to the two motions, do we want to put one on the table to start the discussion, or?
Yeah, because if you do the second one with the terms and conditions, then people can table that motion anyway for further.
Okay, so we'll read motion option number 2, which is to approve the request with the terms and conditions. So the motion reads that the Council of Town of St. Andrews approves the noise exemption request under bylaw 06-04, a bylaw concerning the regulating of noise in the Town of St. Andrews by Howard Hodgson at 41 Cedar Lane for Saturday, September 12th, 2026 from 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. with the following terms and conditions. Music must be played at a reduced volume between 11 p.m. and 1 a.m. No contests or activities that would necessitate cheering would occur after 11 p.m. No use of strobe effect lighting. That all colored and/or motion lighting and sound equipment be contained within the closed interior of the event tent, and that the town send a letter to adjacent residents notifying them of the noise bylaw extension for September 12th, 2026. And I will so move.
Seconder, Councillor Heenan. Further discussion, council? Yes, Councillor Harland?
So to clarify, the applicant has requested an extension for approaching the neighbors, so that hasn't happened yet. It hasn't happened. Okay.
Not that we're aware of. It's, the last we knew it was imminent, but we haven't had it confirmed yet.
Okay. I think that's an important piece of information to have in order for us to make an informed decision.
Agree.
Mr. Spear?
So you just, then you make a motion to table this further to whatever additional information you need?
Okay, Counselor Heenan?
Yes, I would table this motion until we are confirmed that the neighbors have been contacted. And I would move that.
So, table till neighbors contact. So we need a second for that motion, or for that tabling? Counselor Bennett?
I don't want to put a damper on things, but you might want to get a list of all the different pieces of information you want,
Yes.
instead of doing motion by motion for
Okay.
tabling. But since you have it open for discussion, because once you table it, you're kind of done with the item.
All right,
So I would just
so we need
grab a
to
list
have
of other pieces
a
of
list of
information.
other questions. So we want whether the neighbors have been contacted. Deputy Mayor?
Yeah, I agree. I would like to see the neighbors at least consulted before we pass the motion. I'd also like to point out a discrepancy there in the letter that they had sent to the town and versus what's said in the motion, or in the background information. They talk about the tent with the stand facing the Huntsman. In the letter they sent to us, they talk about it facing the water with its back to Cedar Lane. So I'd like to get clarification on that, because
That makes a big difference.
that will make a difference in the way the sound is projected.
Tent facing.
The letter said the back to the golf course, right?
Yes.
So that,
That would be facing the water.
yeah, then it would be facing
The sound would be
Huntsman Marine.
projected that way, which is actually impacting more homes.
And just for clarification, in the original motion, it was asked that the town consulted the neighbors or put out a notice to neighbors. Did you want the town still to be the ones to send out a little notice about this application? Or rely on the event organizer?
I'd like to see them reach out to the neighbors,
Okay,
get their input, and then perhaps
summarize it.
closer to the event, maybe the town could put out a notice just reminding them.
Is it standard practice for the town to do that? Or is it standard practice to request that the applicant do it?
We've done it
We've done it
before.
both ways.
It's rare, maybe once a year or less, that we actually have these type of things. The town of St. Andrews is the biggest user of it for Canada Day fireworks.
Right. And, okay.
Your worship, Councillor Weir has a,
Counselor, we're sorry, I'm writing notes.
no, go ahead, Councillor Weir.
Go ahead, Counselor. Weir.
I think town administration has heard what all the councilors are concerned about here, so couldn't we summarize it by saying that we'll table it until town administration brings back a complete report on something that we can vote in a positive way on?
Well, I think that's why we're being specific, is it not? But, yeah,
Yep,
Chris?
just making sure there's not any other pieces of information you can think of at this time that you would want to know.
that's right. He's just making sure that, are there any other that we may have not done, and we want a list. So, does this complete the list, council, for our staff to go further and find out before we table it? So once it's tabled, we cannot change it. That's my opinion, my understanding. Correct? Yes, okay.
And if there, well,
Anything-
and if there's any
Oh,
other
sorry.
issues that you have that you think about as you go to sleep tonight, and just get in touch with us tomorrow or in the next few days, and we can address those as well.
Thank you, Mr. Spear. Is that clear?
Get invited, eh?
Is that clear, council? Oh, we have to vote on the amendment of tabling right now. So, we have Counselor Heenan and then Counselor Bennett who have stated to table this. Now we're going to vote on that. All those in favor, say aye. Contrary minded, so it's carried to table. So we do not have to finish the other motion? Okay, thank you. And we're now on to, excuse me while I find out where we are. Economic Development, Business and Culture Committee, and the approval of the St. Andrews Budget 2026 revised, Explore Budget. 63, and that is Counselor Weir.
This is reference number EBC 260210, January 30th, 2026. Approval of Explore St. Andrews Budget 2026 revised. At the January 15th meeting of council, upon review of the proposed budget for 2026, council requested Explore update the budget to better align with the format and calculations process used by the town. A revised budget for 2026 is attached. Please note any changes approved tonight for the tourism accommodation levy bylaw will not affect the 2026 budget for Explore, as TAL funding is determined by the policies in place and the monies received the prior year. I did look at the revised budget from the point of view of financial presentation and clarity, and there's no question it's 10 times over better presented than the initial one was. I can't vouch for the numbers because I didn't get a chance to question them, but it's very well presented. So the motion is that council approve the 2026 operating budget for Explore St. Andrews. I so move.
Thank you, Counselor Weir. Seconder? Counselor Harland? Any further discussion, council? Not seeing any. All those in favor say aye.
Aye, we're
Contrary minded, carried unanimously. Okay, Counselor Weir?
The next one is EBC 260209, Paddlefest 3-year partnership agreement, 2026 to 2028. Paddlefest Music and Nature Festival seeks to enter a 3-year agreement where council pledges to host the festival in May 2026 through 2028. The town commits to providing location access, the use of assets such as picnic tables, garbage receptacles, temporary barricades, etc., and exemptions to bylaw 06-04, the noise bylaw, and bylaw 25-02, regulating the licensing of peddlers, buskers, transient traders, and food trucks. Paddlefest organizers are responsible to comply with the bylaws and any terms and conditions, acquire a liquor license, and ensure safety and insurance requirements are met. There are also required meetings before and after the annual event, as well as for a tentative schedule in March of each year. Council may wish to table the proposal to offer changes, which would require confirmation by the applicant. And so I'm going to read the motion, option number 2, that council table the proposed agreement with organizers of Paddlefest Music and Nature Festival to allow for further discussion, and I would add a few words to the effect, further discussion and documentation of the agreement. I so move.
I need a seconder. Counselor Bennett. Okay, discussion, council? Counselor Harlan?
Thank you, Mayor Akji. Counselor Weir, can I just clarify what, you're looking for a draft of the agreement that the municipality would have with your organizers of Paddlefest, is that correct?
Well, there is a draft agreement here,
Yeah,
and I guess I would like staff's opinion of what they feel of the draft agreement, whether everything is covered, and, you know, that it's a bona fide legal document that we can rely on to make sure that the event is carried out as planned.
I can advise that I drafted much of this proposal on behalf of Paddlefest. They gave us a couple-page schedule for this current year's event, and what we did was, between me and the applicant, we added the extra details back and forth a little bit to create this document. It wasn't created unilaterally on either side. It was a combined effort for the drafting of the agreement.
Thank you, Mr. McKinnon. Counselor Heenan?
Yes, Your Worship. I do believe we had a bit of a conversation on this a while back where we knew that Paddlefest was coming in with a 3-year agreement because it was the same each and every year. So if it's been the same for each and every year, so I don't see any reason why we cannot approve this to go to May 31st of 2028, as in option number 1. Thank you, Your Worship.
All right, thank you. Counselor Weir?
Well, I talked about proposing option 2, but now that I know where town administration stands on the whole thing and their comfort level with the attached agreement, I will present option number 1, that council agree to the proposed 3-year agreement with organizers of the Paddlefest Music and Nature Festival, effective until May 31st, 2028. I so move.
Okay, Counselor Weir, we have to defeat the motion that's already on the
Well,
table.
You could
Correct.
rescind it.
He can
We can
rescind it,
rescind, you can rescind it, I guess.
which,
Yeah.
yeah.
So Counselor Weir is going to rescind option number 2. And now is opting for option number 1, which he just read. And we need a seconder for option 1, which is Counselor Heenan. So now we vote only on option 1. Council, all in favor of the question, say aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried. Thank you, Counselor Weir. And we are now on to Planning and Community Development Committee. Counselor Hartland.
thank you, Mayor Akji. So this is reference number PCD 260208, and it's the acceptance of PAC resignation. And the background is PAC member Dwight Ingalls has advised staff he will be stepping down from the committee following 5 years of service. Mr. Ingalls believes that after 5 years, it would be good to have another voice and view at the table. He states, I have enjoyed the time and opportunity to work with some wonderful people, both on the board and everyone at the commission and town hall. Jill Stewart has done an amazing job in her role as chair, and the addition of Councillor Harland on board has been most welcomed. Mr. Ingalls will continue to serve on the Heritage Board. So the action is the following motion, that the council accept the resignation of Dwight Ingalls from the Planning and Advisory Committee. And I so move.
Thank you. Seconder, please. Counselor Weir. Any more comments? Counselor Harlan.
So I would just like to say that Mr. Ingalls has been an invaluable member of the PAC. What he has brought to the table, both professionally and with his commitment and energy around this town has been very valuable. As a new PAC member a few years ago, he was very helpful in helping me to learn the ropes of the committee, so that I truly appreciate that. So I think it's unfortunate that we will lose him from the PAC, but definitely thank him for his 5 years of service.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Ingles, for your service to the PAC. So, that being said, any further comments? Question. All those in favor? Aye. Contrary minded? Carried. And again, thank you, Mr. Ingles.
Your worship, we'll talk, just for half a second, we'll have to put a call out for some PAC members. It was running a little lean anyway.
Okay.
Without the resignation, we still have enough to make up a quorum, but we should probably add at least 2 members. So we'll talk to you about, because there's a couple of other committees that are running a little bit tight on members. So next week's meeting, we'll give some advice on what additional calls for volunteers we should put out and get those out ASAP.
Thank you, Mr. Spear. All right, so that's a resignation. So that brings us up to that. New business, Councillor Weir on Passamaquoddy Lodge.
Yes, there's been some feedback around town about whether the town continues to support Passamaquoddy Lodge. I tried to look in the minutes, but there's no minutes. When we passed the minutes earlier tonight, I didn't have a copy, so I didn't vote for them. But then I just looked on my electronic copy of the package, and they're not on the electronic one either.
Close meeting discussion.
Closed meeting.
Anyway, but the messaging that got out on Passamaquoddy Lodge, or appears to have gotten out, is that we've backed off a bit on supporting the lodge and their rebuild. My recollection of the meeting was that we just sort of deferred it. Perhaps Councillor Gumashell could add some comments. I know he's gotten some feedback, so.
Yes, through you, Your Worship. Yes, thank you, Councillor Weir. I had similar feedback from the public, people wondering about the town's commitment to the lodge moving forward. I think it's key that the town continues to offer that land at $1 and the services put in as part of the presentation to the province that says that the town is 100% behind this rebuild of a new facility that will add spots for, it'll be 60 beds, but there'll be another 30 spots for people to, I'm not sure the exact word, but people who aren't into full care, like day trippers.
Transition.
In transition, thank you. And the lodge is also a very significant employer in our community, one of the larger ones. And certainly, as I near the end of my mandate, I would love to give that extra boost of confidence to the lodge that they've asked for in the form of renewing a 5-year commitment for their with their agreement as dated December 23rd to renew our commitment to their rebuild. Thank you, Councillor Weir and Council.
Thank you, Councillor Gumashell and Councillor Weir. I don't think we said that we were not going to support, but Councillor Deputy Mayor Neal?
Thank you, Your Worship. Yeah, I guess my understanding from that was, and staff can correct me if I'm wrong, but we, again, are still in full support of Passamaquoddy Lodge. Mm-hmm. And again, that land is still available to them. But it was just that we didn't want to handcuff the next 2 councils without having them, or giving them the opportunity, I guess, for a bit of input. But I didn't see our commitment to them wavering in any way. And I think that, again, was communicated to the board of Passamaquoddy Lodge.
If I may, if you don't mind, can I read the exact email I sent?
Yes,
Sure.
please.
So written to two members of the board who had asked about what the decision was. We just brought it to council on Monday, the first meeting since we received the letter. Although council still strongly supports the project, they do not feel they have the moral authority to make an agreement of this magnitude so late in their term to commit land for a project that is still awaiting a sustainable financial model. However, they did specify that if the board received the financial commitment from the province over the next 2 to 3 months, they then would be agreeable to transferring the land. They do encourage the board to resubmit the letter to the new council in June, who may be willing to come up with an arrangement that meets your needs. I'm sorry this is not the answer you were looking for, but it is typical in the winter of an election year. As the board continues to work through the project, council will lend support where they can to send this over the finish line.
Thank you very much, Mr. Spear. Council, you agree?
Did we receive any feedback to that letter?
Not formally, nothing in writing.
Thank you. Maybe too new. Councillor Gumshoe.
Thank you, Worship. If I may, I think in the original letter, and I'm sorry I didn't pick up on this sooner, but they were saying that this is kind of key, looking at their original letter. It's a draft of option agreement for a 5-year term, which would allow us to purchase the lands and to present. We are optimistic. Let's see. Sorry. Have been in continuous negotiation with the province, et cetera, et cetera. So they wouldn't have asked for it if they didn't need it. I think if on a decision this large that we should vote, and therefore I'd like to vote that we give them that 5-year agreement that they requested. So that's my 2 cents.
Council? Any further comment, council? Councillor Harland.
My apologies, but I think I should have recused myself on this discussion.
All right.
So I'm recusing myself now.
Thank you.
That's right, Councillor Harlan did declare conflict of interest with this item previously.
Okay, thank you. So Councillor
Councillor
Harlan,
Harland.
you have to leave. Yeah. Recusal means you have to go. Go to your room. You well, go to your car. Sorry. All right, Councillor Heenan?
Yes, Your Worship. I'm not sure where the talk came that we as a council have not supported Passamaquoddy, because anybody I've talked to, I strongly have been a sole supporter, a very strong supporter of Passamaquoddy. I do have to say honestly that it's very hard for me to, first off, when we started this, we gave a 2-year term for the property. And I may be wrong on this, but I do believe it was 2 years, and they asked for an extension of another year. Am I correct, Mr. Spear?
Either 1 and 2 or 2 and 1, but you're
Okay.
correct.
So, I mean, we have always, Your Worship, supported Passamaquoddy. So I dispel that whole thing that we've not supported. I just have a problem with a commitment that we're not going to be, as a council, around to be able to see this for 5 years. I have absolutely no qualms in supporting Passamaquoddy. I don't think that any new council coming in would ever not support Passamaquoddy. So I just feel that, like, we followed we went over and above. We did the, as Mr. Spears said, we did the 2 or 1 or 1 and 2, whatever it was, we've done. We put the sign up, we've done everything we possibly can. So I dispel anything about negativity, the council, regarding the lodge. And that's just how I feel. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Heenan.
Just as a
Yeah,
point of order
Mr.
issue, I guess 2 things. Councillor Gumashell has a motion on the table, which we should have a seconder before we continue discussion. But
Okay.
there's a legal agreement that was attached to that council hasn't seen really, or at least hasn't seen for a few weeks. So there should, in my highly recommended, you don't make any decisions tonight. You can talk about it, but table it till at least I give the original documentation back in your hands so you can make an informed decision.
Okay, so That means we have to have a seconder for Counselor Gomichel's, and then we have to table it. So seconder, Counselor Weir, and, no? No, Counselor Gomichel forwarded it, right? So Counselor Weir is seconding it. So now we're looking to table that motion until we get
The
the
CAO
information.
can't ask to table. That
No,
was
no,
just
I know.
my recommendation.
We are recommended two tables, so Deputy Mayor Neal is tabling, I assume?
I would make the motion to table, yeah, until,
Okay.
again, my support for the lodge hasn't changed at all. Again, I don't know where the messaging came from, but that's unfortunate. But to the CAO's point, again, this ask was a little bit different in the sense that it did come with a bit of a binding legal agreement, which,
We can't.
again, I don't think we should be, I'm not prepared to vote on that without even seeing it, so.
Okay, thank you. Seconder for Deputy Mayor's tabling, Counselor Bennett. So now we have the tabling brought forward. So any further discussion on the tabling? Counselor Weir.
I just wanted to clarify when I brought it up.
Your microphone?
I wanted to clarify when I brought it up, I in no way implied that council didn't support it 100%. Something in the messaging going out, the fact that we didn't accept the agreement was misinterpreted. And I just wanted to make sure that the messaging to the public was done correctly. I agree the legal documentation should be in front of us, but I also have a philosophy on major issues. The train can't stop because of an election coming up in May. The agreements have to be done, and we just can't sit here and putter away our time until we're given our retirement pension.
All right, thank you, Counselor Weir. So we have a motion to table from Deputy Mayor Neal and Bennett. And so, council, this is the question. All those in favor of tabling this until we get the information necessary? Aye. Contrary minded? Carried. I know I have been approached by several people saying we are not supporting, and I have told them that we are supporting it. It's just we are at the end of our mandate and did not, as Deputy Mayor said, did not want to tie the next two councils up. We want them to make their own decision, but as he stated so well, that I don't think there's anybody that won't support the Passamaquoddy Lodge, and we need to do that. So we are in full support as our council, but as for the next councils, we cannot say what they are going to agree to or not agree to. So that has been tabled. It will be brought back further. Deputy Mayor Neal?
Yeah, thank you. I'm just wondering if we could possibly make a suggestion going back to them before we bring it to a vote, that we maybe drop the term to 2 or 3 years in the sense that it's not spanning two councils in that case? And again, still give them the support they're looking for?
So a lesser term of 2 years. Would that be okay, Mr. Spear?
I'm just suggesting maybe we could
Whatever's
re-
council's will and their will
maybe
to
we could reach out.
combine.
So
and see
maybe
if they're
when you
amenable
reach
to
out
that.
to them, you
Yeah.
mention that we just don't want to go into the next two mandates. Is that okay, council? So just offhand agreement? Thank you. Councillor Weir, you have something else to say? Okay. So could you let Councillor Harlan back before the night's over? Thank you, Councillor Harlan. So the next thing is the question period. Are there any questions from the audience? Please state your name and your question.
Probably all of you around this table know who I am. My name is Natalie Sturgeon, and I'm the editor-in-chief of the Courier, but I'm also a resident of St. Andrews. I don't have a question, but I would ask your permission to address you this evening.
We don't normally do that in question period. We'd have to have a presentation of some sort, sorry. Just, that's the rule. Can we what? Push your button.
You're allowed to suspend the rules by unanimous
You
vote of
can.
council, but would you rather have the 10 minutes in 2
No,
2
it's
weeks?
very brief.
Okay. Council, what is your wish? Allow, yes?
I support.
Support? So there's 3, 4, 5, one opposed. Councilor Heenan? You're abstaining, so that's that's a yes vote. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's 5. It's got to be unanimous, so it's not unanimous with the one nay vote from Councilor Gomichelle.
Thank you.
Sorry, Ms. Sturgeon. All right, so any other questions from the audience? No. Any questions from online? Sir Mac?
I have a question.
Oh, sorry, come to the podium.
As a community member, resident of St. Andrews, my name is Carolyn Lasso. I've heard and seen a lot between council and sometimes some of the people with the newspaper and the Courier, CHCO. And I'm concerned about any divisions. I've heard a lot through people.
Point of order, Your Worship, it's still, I'm
May I
sorry.
ask
It's gotta be-
if
It's
she
still,
could
I'm sorry.
speak?
Sorry.
No,
If she could speak
it's on
just to
matters on
try
the
and make
agenda,
things
but it's matters on the
better.
agenda.
It's going to be
amongst
on the
people.
agenda, I'm sorry, and that wasn't part of our agenda tonight, so I can't speak to it.
It's unfortunate that people cannot speak just to make amends or have a better understanding, so that the divisions that are present can be rectified.
But feel free,
Okay.
ma'am,
Feel
to even
free to
ask
That's all
a
I'm-
couple of tweaks in the presentation. We're not, the bylaw has written that we've practiced.
The
Heck is
issues
that.
do not pertain to me.
But it's still, we're just following the bylaw. It's not a
We're just
judgment. It's just,
No,
it
no,
says,
I just know that Natalie Sturgeon, as a reporter, just wants to make amends and make peace, and that one person in this room will not even just let someone speak
Well,
is
but-
really
but-
unfortunate,
but
because she's trying
it's
to be
it's the
positive.
it's the bylaw, though.
It's a- okay,
Voted
but it's a
by a prior
positive-
council.
Sure.
Voted on by a prior council.
She's just trying to be positive.
Well, I know. I appreciate
That's all.
that.
Sorry,
But
we
it's-
can't have this going on. It is a bylaw that we have to follow, so I'm sorry that you disagree with it. You could write us an email and we can respond that way. So I'm sorry, that's just, I have to follow bylaws. So, Councilor, Deputy Mayor,
Again, I would encourage Ms. Sturgeon to, again, either reach out to us via email, letter, you can address council, or again, request a presentation.
yeah,
We'll
Okay.
happily listen.
so sorry, that's the bylaw. And I have to keep the council going on. All right, so that being said, are there any questions from online?
I just want to point out, too.
Oh, sorry.
From Ms. Sturgeon, I know we go back and forth in discussions and stuff, and I just want to assure you, I'm not trying to stifle. It's just we try to stop statements at the end of meetings. It's just hasn't been the way we've been practiced, and that particular section has been in place for a couple of councils. So we welcome anything, and like I said, you can have even 3 minutes or 10 minutes in a couple of weeks.
Thank you, Mr. Spear. I'm sorry, but we'll do the best we can in the going future. So maybe we need to get together, okay?
To your question, there are no comments online or email questions either.
Thank you, Sir Mac. All right. So now we are on councilors and deputy mayor's comments. Councilor Heenan? Well, I'm looking at you because
weird. What do you call me?
I called, well, because I was expecting to start on that side, but Councilor Heenan put his hand up, so Councilor Heenan, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Your Worship.
I think I wanna
I'm-
go home
I'm
now.
back to Mr. Ingles' resignation. I would personally like to thank him very, very much for his time that he spent on PAC. I was the first counselor to be on PAC when Mr. Ingles came on board, and to follow what Councilor Harland has said. He was truly a fresh air to the PAC committee. And I just think that his objectivity and his creativity made a lot of difference in the town. So I would just like to personally thank him very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Heenan. Anybody else from Counselor Weir.
Yes, I'd just like to comment on the sort of situation we're in here in the town. We are extremely fortunate to have both a local TV station and a local newspaper, which I guess is published, I don't know, once a month or
Yes.
paper copy. So, and when I look at the media, I use my old 3 T's: truth, trust, and transparency. And as long as they pass that test, I just take it for what it is. I try to use the same thing myself. Some people make objection or object to the way I speak about certain things, but I'm just trying to be truthful, transparent, and trustworthy. And that's all I ask of our media. And if we can't accept that, then we just have to live with it. You know, it can't throw them under the bus. So that's just my comment. I believe in what I call the 3 T's, and as long as they use those criteria, I don't have a problem at all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Counselor Weir. Counselor Harland.
Thank you, Mayor Akachi. So I have 2 comments. One is, Natalie, I certainly hope that you make a request to do a presentation at our next council meeting, and I look forward to that presentation and that discussion. Thank you very much for coming tonight. My second comment is we are now in the beginning of February, and spring is not far away, whether the groundhog saw its shadow or not. And that means we will soon be coming into election and hopefully receiving nominations from people within St. Andrews to put their name in the hat to run for council. I really want to encourage people to be considering this opportunity. I have my experience as a first-time councillor. It has been exceptionally positive. I have really valued my working relationships with my fellow councillors, with town staff, with partners, with CHCO, with the Courier. I appreciate the amount of opportunity I've had to learn about the inner workings of municipal politics, and I especially have valued the opportunity to speak with citizens. That has been incredible. It is an amazing opportunity. I really encourage people to consider it. I do believe, if you look around this table, there's 2 women and a number of men. I really encourage women to think about putting their names forward to consider becoming a member of council. There is.
Sorry, I don't want to interrupt. I just want to say that the province also has, and I can't remember the name of the group, to encourage women at all levels. And so there's support outside of municipal support for women going into politics.
Right.
To be aware of that.
And that's where I was going.
You
Mr.
didn't give her a
Spear.
chance to finish.
There is an online, free online session tomorrow night. It's called See Jane Run. You can look it up on Facebook. It is particularly geared toward women to encourage them to consider municipal politics. Mayor Merrithew is one of the speakers. She has been a huge champion for encouraging women in politics. She's done quite an amazing job in Grand Bay Westfield. So I would just like people to be thinking about that. If anybody ever wants to talk about what it's been like or have questions, I know myself, I would be happy to have a discussion with anyone around this, and I'm sure all of my colleagues around the table would be interested in having conversations as well. So thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you, Councillor Harland. Councillor Gumashell. Oh, he's got paper in hand. We're in trouble.
Something else. Thank you, Worship. Just to piggyback on what Councillor Harlan was saying, the town of St. Andrews has created a policy that if you had kids and you wanted to serve on council, or had someone you were caring for, the town would help with subsidize
Yes,
babysitting and
Put that in last.
caretaking. That was during the last council, to try and encourage more people who aren't necessarily retired, maybe young parents, to consider signing up for council. So that's an added bonus and incentive that I don't think other communities have, and proud to have here in the town of St. Andrews.
Thank you,
Worship.
Councillor Gumashell. Anyone else? Councillor Heenan, Councillor Bennett, Deputy Mayor? All right, I have a few notes. I always do. But I'd like to thank Mr. Alton Bubar's company for the flat of bags that he delivered to the Eastern Charlotte town office, because when the fire happened to the food bank, they lost everything, including all the bags that we had collected and taken in. So I put another plea out for bags. I think I'm being known as the bag lady. But anyway, I put out a plea and I got a lot more, took them over. And then Mr. Bubar reached out to me again and said that his company had a flat of bags that he was willing to donate, as long as we thanked him publicly. And so I spoke with the Mayor, John Craig, of Eastern Charlotte, and I said to him, number one, I need you to accept the big truckload that's coming with all these bags, because the food bank was closed that day due to the storm. So he said yes, the town would accept them. So they got there. I'm hoping that they did get to the food bank, because I know myself, being a dial-a-ride driver and deliverer of food to a lot of people, that bags are a lot easier to carry for me at my age than boxes with a turkey and 5 cans in it. I just can't do it anymore. So, but the bags are a lot easier. And so I'd like to thank the people of Eastern Charlotte, as well as Charlotte County, who donated to the food bank. The All Saints Anglican Church Hall just donated $1,500 to the food bank, which is great need that they need to do. They're in restoration, I guess you could call it, but they're still open for the people that need it. It is a necessary need. And these bags generally help out with the delivery, with packaging. It's so much easier. So thank you to anyone who's ever given me a bag or said to me, I've got a bag load of bags, and where do I drop them off? Well, you can drop them off at the town office, because I had a bunch that blew across my neighbor's yard and he wasn't too happy. So I've decided now that they should come to the town hall, because there's somebody there at least 8 to 5, and they can take, or 8 to 4:30. They can take the bags, and then I get them there when I go in for my meetings with town staff and the deputy mayor. So thank you for that, and thank you, Mr. Bubar, your company. I really appreciate it. I wrote you a note, an email, but I can't thank you enough for donating all of those, and to Mayor John Craig for accepting them, because we didn't know where they were going to go. So thank you very much. The winter warmer that Mr. Spear noted, there were a lot of activities. I didn't get to attend a lot of them, but I did get to attend some. Fantastic. And now that we're now going into February and spring, we're also going into Easter and Lenten activities, and the Anglican Church is going to have breakfasts every Sunday through Lent, but they also are having Shrove Tuesday, which is Pancake Tuesday, on the 17th of February from 5 to 6:30 p.m. at the Anglican Church Hall, so you can go and start your Lenten season off with pancakes. If you'd like to volunteer to help out with them, they would love the volunteers. It would be great. Us old people are getting too old to do all this stuff. And the final thing I'd like to say is for Nolan McLean. He was one of our junior firemen, became a fireman, went to UPEI and became a fireman. He got his certification. Bill Rigby went and presented him with his award. He won an award for safety. I've known him since he was a baby, I guess, because I know his family very well. And I know that his family is very proud of him, just as the town of St. Andrews is very proud of him. The fire department is very proud. I'm sure Deputy Mayor Neal can, attest to the young people that we have there. They are a fantastic lot of people that volunteer for the fire department. They do a great amount. I know I've worked with them several times. The pancake breakfasts and everything that I've done with the fire department. I finally did get my ride in the fire truck, but all you could see was my arm coming out the window. So I've still got a complaint with that fire chief, but I'll work on him. And I'd like to thank Bill Rigby for going over there to present him with the award. It's an honor to have someone from our community go and do this, but to win awards. He's a fantastic young fellow. Can't call him a kid anymore because he's grown up, but as Deputy Mayor can attest, we have a lot of those young fellows that are great in our department and young women that are in our department that are doing a great job. So I thank the volunteer fire department that we have, and that goes from Kevin on down, that thank you for all your work and efforts. You're a fantastic group. We certainly appreciate all of you firemen. And that's all I have to say. Mr. Spear's going to cut in because I talked too long.
No, actually, I just want to apologize again to Councillor Harland for cutting her off. I didn't mean to. I was just throwing some information. I will say, though, there is a site also called Women for 50% within New Brunswick, looking to empower female candidates at all levels. So anyone interested, I'd probably encourage our two current members to get in and provide insight because they look for mentorship and things too. So it's officially called Women 50 Fem, FEMMES.ca. But if you just Google Women for 50%, it's New Brunswick focused. There's others that are more nationally focused, but and I'm sure Mayor Merrithew from Granby Westfield, I suspect, is a member of that.
And on that note, the Regional Service Commission is offering some webinars on becoming a new counselor. So those are available as well.
Not yet. We're discussing it.
Yeah, they're discussing it, but they are coming
together.
forward. And there are some other things that you can access as well from the province, right? So they will be available as well. They're just getting up and running.
Yeah, and just if anyone even has a light, the clerk or I are happy to sit down with anybody and just go over kind of what, we can't give them the full details, but we're not going to keep them for 3 days, but we can tell them what their kind of the responsibilities are and the workload that we're seeing from our current counselors, so they can see what the time commitment is, which I think surprises some people. It's not a full-time job, but it's certainly not 2 hours a week either. No. So just to provide them some more information, if nothing else, to meet staff so they know who their partners will be if they get elected.
Thank you very much, Mr. Spear, and thank you, Councillor Harlan, for bringing that forward, especially for women. It's nice to see. Anything else, Council? If not, we have to go into closed session, I believe. Mr. McKinnon, what is the number, or is it at? It's in there. So at 8:08 p.m., Council will move into closed session for the Local Governance Act, Section 68(1)D, the proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land, and Section 68(1)F, information concerning legal opinions or advice provided to the local government by its solicitor or privileged communications between solicitor and client as a matter of local governance business. And so I need a motion, land purchase, legal case, update, and return to open session. So I need a mover, Councillor Heenan, a seconder, Councillor Gumichel. All those in favor say aye. Contrary minded? Carried. So we will move into closed session as soon as, and thanks, Flo. I know you're in the background, but you do a great job keeping us on track. We forget about you being behind me, except for I freeze to death. But thank you very much, CHCO, for coming out, and Natalie for showing up every night. So thank you again. So good night, everybody. Stay warm. End of discussion.